We all know of a store called Walmart. I'm sure there's no way somebody doesn't know what Walmart is, but apparently they're a massively hated company. But I don't know if I've ever actually heard someone, just a normal, regular, everyday person saying, "Oh, I hate Walmart so much." You know, maybe the feud with Walmart and Target, maybe someone's like a Target goer. I think that's like was a thing for a bit, but I don't think I've ever heard anyone actually say, I cannot stand Walmart. I hate them. Maybe more on a business side, people might say that. We're more into business economics type stuff, but a regular person, I don't know if I've heard that, but let's find out why Walmart is hated.
Walmart is probably one of the world's most polarizing companies. For better or worse, it has transformed the retail industry and impacted most of our lives. Now, I want to acknowledge right away that there are millions of people out there that absolutely love these stores and even rely on them to an extent. Walmart is famous for offering some of the lowest prices on a wide selection of products. I still associate the store with that smiley face that would go around rolling back the prices in those commercials.
So just right off the rip here, kind of I don't maybe I'm not looking at this the right way, but Walmart's polarizing. I'm not sure how is Walmart polarizing. I don't get it. Maybe there's something crazy going on. Like for a polarizing company, I don't even know like what Walmart does to be polarizing. Maybe I'm not seeing it, but like companies, I'd imagine that you'd say polarizing would be I don't Tesla now because of Elon Musk of what he says, and people either hate or love what he says. You could say that's polarizing. Maybe Google's polarizing because of things that they've done and got caught doing on search and stuff. But I don't know polarizing. Maybe it's just not the right word.
Company's founder, Sam Walton, who opened the first location in Arkansas on July 2nd, 1962. From that day, his belief
Walmart's
was
been
that the
around
customer
for a
placed so
minute.
much importance on price that if he sold the same item as a competitor for even just a little less money, the customer would be more likely to buy it from him.
So this is actually now this could be something that people say they hate Walmart for, but I feel again it'd be more on the business side because at least for a period of time it benefits the consumer. Eventually it doesn't, right? But Walmart was extreme. I don't know if they still are. Probably I don't know why they'd abandon it. They're pretty predatory with pricing. They usually if there's a product that's super popular that everyone's buying that's flying off the shelves, if they can make their own version and put it next to it and then price it lower and even sell it for a loss, they'll do that until the other company can't afford to be in business anymore and pulls out, and then Walmart owns all of that and they can now take the price back to wherever it was and make money doing that. So I know they used to do that. I don't know if they still do, but that could be something that people would say, they're not a huge fan of.
Clearly, that has proven to be true. Walmart has become one of the all-time greatest retail success stories by using this low-price strategy. It allows people to buy items that they otherwise would not have been able to afford. However, it has not all been positive, to a point where a lot of people have genuine hatred for it. There are multiple lists out there ranking the most hated companies where Walmart has been included. The American Customer Satisfaction Index, based on customer surveys, consistently places Walmart below the average of all supermarkets.
I mean, I guess I'm wrong. There's got to be people that honestly hate Walmart. I don't know why. I don't I don't know. Maybe I'm out of touch. Maybe I'm not. I got to start hating Walmart. But obviously, the graph, the data, people rank it lower than other supermarkets. Obviously, it follows the trend going to like if all of them go down, Walmart goes down as well. But I really want why. What is pushing people to do this?
And on this channel, in the comments, many people have requested that I make this exact video, so the hatred is out there, and my intention today is to objectively try and explain it. I want to be clear that I am not trying to bash the company or to convince you to hate them. I know it can be a fine line, but I promise I simply want to present some of the biggest reasons as to why people do hate them. Starting off the list, with maybe the most obvious one, the fact that Walmart is so big. Again, it was started in 1960. And by the end of the 1970s, not even 2 decades later, it had reached the billion-dollar sales mark. It was faster than any company had ever done it before. In 1990, it surpassed Sears to become the country's biggest retailer. In 1993, Walmart introduced their private label brand, Great Value.
All right, this one I don't get. Saying Walmart just got too big. I don't think the average person cares. As long as they're getting a product that they feel is fairly priced or they enjoy doing. I don't think people care how big companies are. Look at Apple and Microsoft and Google and Amazon, the giant tech companies. Like they're massively bigger than Walmart could ever dream of being, and they no one goes around going, God, I hate Google, I hate Apple. Like people might hate their products, but as a company, I don't think people like they're just everyday people. Now the business side of people and economics of people who like saying, oh, monopoly is this and all that, they might hate those companies and think that. But I think like maybe this isn't boiled down to everyday people, but I feel like that chart they showed was everyday people. But again, even stuff like this, like the Great Value brand, I feel like people, I mean, people buy it instead, right? So there has to be some sort of value there. They like getting these products for slightly less and not having a name brand attached to it, but uh, that doesn't make sense to me.
In 2002, it officially became the largest company in the world when measured by revenue. It was the first non-manufacturing company to hold the #1 spot on the Fortune 500 list, and today it is still the biggest, with $648 billion in revenue coming from over 10,000 stores. And obviously, people tend to get skeptical when a company becomes this large. There have been numerous concerns along the way regarding monopolies, being too controlling, reducing competition, things along those lines. I would say that those are understandable concerns, partially because a big part of their growth strategy has been to eliminate competition through various acquisitions. Walmart's first ever major acquisition was in 1977. It was for a Midwest chain of stores called More Value, followed by other regional chains to help them spread across the country. Sam's Club, as you probably know, is their chain of membership warehouse stores, much like Costco. Well, it was taken to a new level in 1993 when Walmart spent about $300 million to buy Pace warehouse store.
So maybe that's why, too big, they buy up the competition. I think that's just where we're at. No one really enforces the I don't know if they be antitrust or like the monopoly type stuff where the regulatory bodies would come after them and block acquisitions. They were starting to do that, but I think we're gonna roll back on that again. But I think it's just what happens with the company getting bigger. But this too, Sam's Club being the like they're talking about it and being the competitor to Costco, and they buy out these other stuff. I still think in that department of a membership type of store, I think Costco wins because they've just been so much more cognizant of how they do business. Where that when you go to Costco, that the items are marked up 14%. I think it's 14%. That's what they mark everything up. That's their profit margin. And they've never gone away from that, even during 2020 when they could have, because supply was low and they could have charged more because everyone needed stuff. They still decided not to because they said, if we do it once, we'll be tempted to do it again. And they didn't do it. So in that department, you're saying Walmart's too big. In the Sam's Club part, I think Costco wins there because they've just, what you're getting when you go to Costco. Why you pay the membership is because you can trust that the company is doing what they say they're doing and they're going to stick to it.
So I'm going to move right along and talk about how Walmart has been hurting small businesses. Honestly, you can say this about almost any large company, but Walmart is like an extreme example of it. The company buys so much stuff and operates on such a large scale that it is able to sell items at prices that realistically cannot be matched by local competitors. Plus, on top of that, historically, Walmart has specifically targeted areas with relatively small populations of less than 25,000 people. Just like Sam Walton envisioned from the start, when a new Walmart opens in town, people are typically attracted to the comparatively lower prices and stop shopping at the existing smaller stores.
So this one might be controversial because I would say that's just the market. Obviously Walmart's massive. They're a giant store, but like from a consumer's point of view, if you can get the same item for less money, that's a good thing, right? If your business can't compete with that, then you have to figure out how to compete with that or go out of business. And it's like the business cycle, because if you say all these other small businesses go out of business, Walmart's the only left in town, they'll raise prices, but then you'll get the other businesses come in and say, I can do that for less. And then you redo this whole business cycle. So you'll have another business spring up doing whatever Walmart's charging for and charge less, and you'll go there instead. So I think that's how a business cycle would work out. It's not like this is terrible. Obviously, people don't like seeing small businesses get closed out, but I think it's just unfortunate reality of the market. If you can't compete, you just can't stay in business. And it's a win for consumers as well, because you get better pricing on the goods you were already buying. So you get to spend less money and get the same amount of stuff. So this is definitely something that it's like, yes, no one wants to see businesses get shut down, but if it's better for the consumer, then it's just the market forces talking.
Stores, ultimately forcing them to shut down. It is all part of what has been labeled the Walmart effect. That was the title of a 2006 book by Charles Fishman that outlines it nicely. I want to emphasize that a new Walmart does have positives. It creates jobs, brings attention to the area, and even can help certain businesses like restaurants and gas stations. It all depends on who you are and how you look at it, but Walmart...
Yeah, because that's what I've heard, is that Walmart basically gives like an area a massive boom. Like if there's a Walmart in an area, it just sparks up all this other stuff and brings a bunch of other businesses there, and it's ultimately a good thing. So if small businesses might shut down, but other businesses will come and open, and there'll still be competition there. So I do think that it's overall a good thing, but it could be wrong. I don't know. We could be wrong.
has forever changed local economies and shifted consumers away from locally owned businesses. Please let me know if I'm right, but I imagine anyone watching this that is a big supporter of small businesses is probably not the biggest fan of Walmart. I feel like a lot of this does not require too much explanation, so I'm going to move on to the next reason.
See, I'd just say that too. For small businesses, I think I support small businesses. I like small business. Competition is always a good thing. But I also think the market is the market. You can either compete or you can't. You have to compete or figure out a way to compete or offer your service at such a better service where customer service is through the roof and people will say, I'll pay the extra 10% because I know going there, like it'll be a great experience. It'll be pleasant. I'll enjoy being there. If you can offer that, then you can compete, right? There's different ways to get around it than just pricing. But I do think it's just the market. Like, you just got to figure it out.
On my list, buying practices. Walmart has a reputation of sort of using their power against suppliers. I mean, having your product in Walmart is a big opportunity. It puts it in front of so many potential customers. But since Walmart puts such an emphasis on low prices, those suppliers are now motivated to find ways to make their product for less money. That can mean cutting corners, reducing salaries, using cheaper materials, or in many cases, outsourcing production to a different country like China. Yeah, a lot of the stuff sold in Walmart comes from China. I guess over the past few decades, Walmart has accounted for about 10% of all Chinese imports into the US. Clearly, this is a source of disapproval for many people because it creates more jobs and helps the nation's economy if the stuff were to be made within the country. I mean, think about it. If all the people within the country are not earning money to spend at Walmart, well, the whole system kind of falls apart.
So this is actually, I would agree with this point that obviously Walmart has insane pricing power. If you get into Walmart, you can move a lot of volume, and it can really make a difference for your company and your item. And they do use that to their advantage to say, you got to sell at this price. This is what we think it'll move at. You got to get down to this price. They do that in negotiations, or at least they used to. I don't know if they still do. But yeah, they have huge pricing power, and obviously that means these companies, they got to do what they got to do to bring the price down to either meet what Walmart wants or to, make more money, to do whatever they got to do. So this one, I'll give it to you, is a reason why you could not like Walmart. It does outsource jobs if you can get cheaper labor somewhere else, and it's cheaper to ship that from China to here to sell it, then companies will do that. So this one makes sense.
So in that way, it is in their benefit to keep things domestic, and that has been repeatedly acknowledged by the company itself, going all the way back to the 1980s. In 1985, Walmart sent out a letter to 3,000 American manufacturers and wholesalers saying that they wanted to buy more stuff that was made in America. There was a whole campaign surrounding it. Then later, in 2013, they committed to buying $250 billion in goods manufactured in the United States over the next 10 years. And in 2021, they announced a new commitment to invest $350 billion in products from the US over the next decade. As of right now, they say that 2/3 of their merchandise sold in the US comes from within the country.
So that's a good thing too, right? So they noticed this problem and decided, you know what, let's do something to make sure it doesn't become a big problem. Because like they said in this, Walmart as obviously in the U.S. If the U.S. economy can't afford to spend money at Walmart, then Walmart doesn't make money, right? So it's a win-win, right? They figure out how to do this. It helps the country as a whole, the economy as a whole, helps them. It's just kind of it's good for everybody. So, and I mean, they didn't have to do this, right? But it was a good idea too because they obviously want to stay in business, right? So, even though the first part of this was, you could definitely say what was happening, what might have been going on, is a bad thing, and that's why people would hate Walmart. That it's forcing people to outsource jobs and things. But then at least they go around and try and remedy it and try and find a fix to it to where now at least the majority of stuff in Walmart is U.S. made. Like, and I don't even know. Like, maybe we'd have to get more data on that. I don't know if I would buy that at face value, but according to them, according to what it is, which is a good thing. So at least they actually went ahead and tried to fix it, right?
And that Walmart receives so much hatred stems from unhappy employees, and there are so many ways we could look at this. With the exception of government militaries, Walmart is the largest employer in the world with over 2 million employees, and 75% of them work in the United States. I mean, labor is their single biggest cost. Anyone watching this that happens to be one of those 2 million people, please, I would love to hear about your experience working there, positive or negative, but overall, when it comes to treatment of employees, Walmart has not had the strongest reputation. Sam Walton was very much against unionizing, and that has continued to be the attitude from the company. They have even gone so far as to allegedly close stores shortly after unions have been formed within them. There have been numerous complaints or protests or lawsuits over the years regarding just about anything you can imagine. Employees not being paid for overtime or being forced to work overtime, scheduling, lack of benefits, surveillance, being discriminated when it comes to race, gender, disabilities. One that stands out to me is from 2021, where a jury awarded a woman with Down syndrome over $100 million in a discrimination lawsuit. But probably the most widespread complaint has been about wages. Walmart has had abnormally high turnover rates, and not being paid enough has been a top reason for employees leaving. I want to contrast this with the fact that many successful retailers have gone out of their way to make their employees feel valued because it translates to
Before we even get into it, because I already know where this is going. This is the part I was talking about as competition. Even if you can't compete with prices from Walmart, say that you could compete with service. And I think this is where this is going to go. Talking about like Publix and stuff, where these guys, because he kind of started mentioning it here, like they try and take care of their employees better, and that's going to shift to the customer and maybe bring an experience that a customer is willing to pay 10% more, 5-10% more, maybe not like double, right? But they'll be willing to pay a little bit more to be able to enjoy an experience, right? So that's where the market competition comes in.
their performance, and that translates to the customers. Happy employees are more likely to be friendly, helpful, and ambitious, so unhappy ones can lead to the opposite. I apologize if this seems disrespectful to anybody working at Walmart, but it could be a big reason behind those low customer satisfaction scores. However, Walmart has been making efforts to improve things. In 2015, they committed $2.7 billion to be put toward training and a higher minimum wage that has continued to increase. Today, they say that the average hourly wage for a U.S. frontline associate is more than $17.50 per hour. Again, many criticize that it still needs to be higher, but there has been progress.
Watching this, I don't think the average person looks at Walmart and thinks, "God, I hate this store as a company." Maybe I'm wrong. Obviously, this data from whatever survey that was says I'm wrong. But I don't know. I don't think people are thinking like that. But ultimately, I think there's stuff to hate Walmart for, but at least they are a company that looks like they are trying to go in the right direction. I guess trying to remedy some of the stuff that they get criticized for. If you look at other companies like Amazon, I think they're the second largest employer outside of Walmart. I think it's like Walmart then Amazon. I don't think Amazon. I mean, we have to look into this, but I don't think that they make the steps that Walmart has. But I mean, like the stories that come out of Amazon stuff is peeing in bottles. Every single minute of the day, you got to be active. Something's going on, in trouble for not finishing stuff, even if you have a ton of work put on you. So I don't know. Just like throwing a different company, but I think that there's valid reasons there, but at least we saw some sort of evidence that there is attempts to um, remedy stuff and actually, try and change things instead of just say, oh, well, whatever. People go to Walmart anyways. That's gonna do it for this video. As always, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.